Hello and welcome everyone. In today's video, I will be demonstrating my technique to take the grime and dirt out of light color pants cuffs. I don't know if you can see in this video, these are my summer slacks. These are almost off-white in color, not quite pure white, but you can see the cuffs are fairly dirty. And the dirt is not actually shoe polish. These are ankle pants, or they break right on top of ankle. This is actually the dirt and grime from walking on dirty office carpeting. My technique to take this grime and dirt out of these light colored pants requires several hours and multiple ingredients. Now, my saving grace is that I don't do this fairly frequently or after every use. In fact, these pants I've had for about a couple of years, and this is the first time I'm going to be cleaning them this way with my technique. Now, in the past, I have used this technique on my other pants, and I've been fairly successful. The ingredients to clean with this technique include rubbing alcohol, and it doesn't have to have any particular percent. All you need is basically just rubbing alcohol. Any type would do it. Kitchen towel, preferably white color. Again, you're going to be putting some alcohol on the kitchen towel. If there are any prints or colors in them, they might come off and stain your garment. So I would recommend using plain old white kitchen towels. You will need baking soda. You will need distilled white vinegar. And finally, a good dishwashing liquid. I try to use milder dishwashing liquids, and I don't know if you have noticed, but in my videos, I try to upcycle things, try to reuse things, or things that I've already have, find alternate ways. While I'm not environmentalist in conventional ways, I do try to be very mindful of my impact on the environment around me. Anyways, so the first step is we take some rubbing alcohol and we put it on a kitchen towel and then apply that for soaking onto the cuffs of the pant. It will take about a couple of hours for alcohol to loosen the grime and the dirt. I will do so off the camera, and I will show you how the end result looks. In about 5 minutes or so, all it took for me to apply rubbing alcohol onto the bottom cuffs of my pants using a folded kitchen towel. Again, I'm using a basic white kitchen towel which has no prints on it, for the fear that alcohol might take the color off and stain my garment even further. Now, with alcohol as a pre-treatment, we are going to let it sit for a couple of hours so the grime and dirt can loosen off, and then we will move on to the next step, which requires us to use baking soda and distilled white vinegar. Now, one of the questions that could obviously come to mind is, why am I not using any kind of bleach? Now, remember at the start of the video, I mentioned that these are off-white color pants, and I'm not sure if they're very clear in the camera, but they are off-white, not quite pure white. The problem with using chlorine bleach is that while it will take the stain out, it's also going to leave those horrible looking yellow stainy marks on the pants, which are not really pleasing to look at. You get one stain out and you end up with a different kind of stain, and then you can't really do anything. The other fear that I have is that chlorine bleach will probably alter the color of my pants, and I would not be able to use them. Oxygen bleach, I've noticed, works quite well if agitated, but by itself, I've not had a lot of success using oxygen bleach as a pre-treatment. However, if you have some techniques for me please do share them with us in the comment section, and I will certainly try them next time. I am going to pause the video at this point. It's going to take us about 2 hours or so for the alcohol to pre-treat the fabric before we move into the next step. So I mentioned that we'll probably have to wait a couple of hours. Actually, since my last update, it's 1 hour and 20 minutes that have lapsed, and I've noticed that the rubbing alcohol has already dried, probably because it's kind of warm and dry weather here today. But one thing you will notice is, and I don't know if you can tell in the video, the marks from the grime and perhaps the dead skin cells as well as grit have faded quite a lot. As part of, but they're not fully out yet. So as part of our next step, what I'm going to do now is I am going to use baking soda and distilled white vinegar to make paste. Now, the proportions that I generally use are 3 parts of baking soda and 2 parts of vinegar. Anyone who has taken, who has built volcanoes in science classes in junior high would remember that baking soda and vinegar form an exothermic reaction. So there's going to be a lot of effervescence and things will certainly rise and get warm. What I'm going to do is I am going to use a tall container and make my paste. And most likely what I will do is I will use an old cleaning toothbrush to apply the paste onto the cuffs, and again let it sit for about an hour or so and then wipe things off. So I'm going to take the baking soda, vinegar, and my pants into the bathroom. I'm going to prepare the paste and apply the paste, and I will return to show you how it looks. So I just thought it might be a good idea to show you how the paste looks. And I don't know if you can tell, again, my container is white, but you can see this paste, which is again mixture of 3 parts of baking soda and 2 parts, 2 parts of distilled white vinegar, form this paste consistency. Again, the chemical reaction is exothermic, so just be careful. I'm upcycling an old skier container that I washed out, and I know that this container is safe because it was containing acidic skier, which did not react with it. So I know that for my use this is going to be fairly safe. And to make the mixture I use my tablespoons because again baking soda and vinegar both are safe for human use, but I'm using a cleaning toothbrush. So I'm not using my kitchen utensils for the purpose of this technique. Now I'm going to go ahead, take my pants with me, and using this toothbrush, apply the paste and cover the cuffs with the paste and let it sit for about an hour or so. But after I've applied the paste onto the cuffs, I will show you how it looks. Okay, so I have applied the paste that I showed you earlier, which is composition of baking soda and vinegar. And now I'm going to let the paste sit on the cuffs of the pants for another 45 minutes to an hour. And then what we are going to do next is brush the dried paste at the point it's going to become powder off of the cuffs, and then scrub down the cuffs using an old scrubber and dishwashing detergent. I will pause the video here and let the time lapse, and I will return after 45 minutes. Alright, so now 45 minutes have lapsed, and as for the final step, I am going to take my pants and wash them with dishwashing detergent. And the reason I'm using dishwashing detergent is because dishwashing detergent has these properties to clean grease. So remember, the first step that we used was we loosen up all the grime and grit, and then as a second step, we used a paste which was 3 parts baking soda and 2 parts white vinegar. And the combination of that is supposedly used to lift up that grime and grit. And now, as a final step, the degreasing properties of dishwashing detergent will help us loosen up and wash away all the grit before pants can be washed in regular laundry. I'm going to take these pants into the bathroom again, and I'm going to wash them, and I will come back after I have done so. So I have washed my pants with dishwashing detergent, and I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but there is absolutely no staining left anywhere. These are again the same pants that we started, which had the grime and dirt from the office carpeting. Remember, the office carpeting is not cleaned like you would clean your own carpeting at home. And as you walk on those carpets, a lot of this dirt gets lifted up and gets sort of clings to the bottom of the cuff of your pants. And if the pants are light colored, that nasty grime and grit just stays there. So for these light color pants, I had them for about 2 years, and I cleaned them for the first time. Again, it takes a while for it to build up, but once it does start to look pretty bad. And if you like to cuff your pants in summer, it kind of looks not very well kept and takes away the gentlemanly charm of folding your pants. But now with the technique that I showed you, and again to recap the technique, what I did was I used dishwashing liquid. Actually, let me start. So first, from the start, we pre-treated the cuffs with some rubbing alcohol. Let it sit for about some time. I mentioned at the start of the video 2 hours, but in my case it took just about 1 hour and 30 minutes or so before the alcohol dried out. As next step, I made a paste from two parts of white vinegar and 3 parts of baking soda. I applied that paste to the bottom of the cuff and let it sit for about 45 minutes. And after that, as the paste dried out, I literally just shook the pants, and the dried powder from baking soda vinegar mixture just rolled right off. And then I washed the cuffs with dishwashing liquid. The technique relies on 2 basic pre-treatments. The rubbing alcohol loosens up the settled grime and grit from the fabric, and then the mixture of baking soda and vinegar lifts that settled grime and grit from the deep settled inside of the fibers to the surface, and then finally the dishwashing detergent washes it off of the fabric. Now, as a final step, I'm going to be doing my laundry, and I will throw these pants in the laundry, and I will show you how they look after they have come out of fresh laundry. All right, so my pants have come out of laundry, and they look crisp and smell great. Again, we cleaned the cuff before I laundered it, and there's absolutely no marking whatsoever of what we started with. And I will see if I can put the before and after pictures when I upload the video. However, the cuffs are both of the cuffs are pristine. They're absolutely clean. And again, I had purchased these pants about a couple of years ago. I've been washing them regularly. However, this is the first time I had to clean the cuffs. Over time, they really started to show. And as I was wearing them yesterday, I was not feeling very confident walking around in light color pants with that ring of grime and grit showing on my ankles. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. And again, if you have comments or questions, please post them down in the comment sections. Also, if you have different techniques than mine, please do share. Remember, as we grow, we learn from each other and become better. That's the idea behind this channel. I appreciate you watching. Again, please subscribe, share, hit like, and I will see you next time. Thank you again, and have a great day.